What's up, YouTube? How you doing? So I got asked the battle of the kickers, Toni Fritseh or Gario Yepremian. Who did I hold in higher regard? They both were distinctive. Toni Fritseh was Australian born. It's a funny story because Tom Landry, the Dallas Cowboys, came and got him because they were looking for kickers. And at the time, the uniqueness of European kickers to the NFL, the styling, because there were so many different technical techniques. So he came over, tried out with the Cowboys. It's quite interesting when I read his story. Now, at the time when I was a kid, I was watching the Houston Oilers. That's how I became aware of the Toni Fritseh era, because the Dallas Cowboys was before my awareness and timing. But him as a Houston Oiler when he was an All Pro, he was clutch. He had a very distinctive way that he kicked, and I always could tell the cats from overseas from the American kickers because sometimes the soccer style or the way they would kick or the technique. And you could tell, a lot besides just the name, but it was just the way that the flow was with him. But he was a good kicker, at the time. Um, and he was very impactful for the Oilers during their drives. And he was helpful for the Cowboys too, because good kickers, well, as you can tell today, they're hard to find, and it is an art to it. It was kind of a big deal to get a kicker from overseas to be your field goal kicker. That was kind of like the way a lot of them went, soccer style, Euro style, because of the trajectory and the flight. Now, guys, now today can boom that thing 50, 40, 50 yards with no problem. Some cases 60 or more. It was rare. That wasn't always the case. So when you get distinctive kickers, you know, and he was good for his time. He was good for his time. Then we get into Gario Premium, and of course with the Miami Dolphins. Now, left-footed kicker, which was again not seen a lot of those in the history, but had a very distinctive kick where he definitely got a lot of rise up on the ball. Of course, one of the things that Gary Premium is most known for, infamously, was that game against Washington and during Miami's perfect season. He threw that bad wounded duck, which was a pick six, and that was the only score that Washington got in that Super Bowl. That Miami Dolphins defense was no joke with Don Shula leading the way. But Yepremian was a big time player. In fact, he was picked on the all decade team. So he definitely left an impression. He definitely was somebody that, you know, it definitely was very compelling. When I thought about it, very compelling that a kicker that had that kind of impact. He did, because if you could kick, that's what you paid to do, and he was clutch for what he did. So anyway, asking about these two and my remembrance of them, Gario I think had the better overall career, but they both had long careers. Toni French was respected in his homeland, and he was held in high regards, and they both were distinctive. I remember watching kickers back in the day, and I might talk about it in more videos because I was watching, the barefoot kickers and the technical aspects of kickers. There are so many different hits and layers to kickers that you can't really, how you put in the words. But this is an interesting question about these two, and I like them both in different ways. So, but I think Ariel gets the edge here. But they both were happening for what they did. They both were really, very good. So anyway, please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like, and hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.